Afternoon.
Raise your hand to ask questions. We'll pass the mic to you.
Hey, Tom, how much do you enjoy being the underdog and that being, how much of a motivating factor is that for you? It doesn't happen very much.
I don't think about it too much, what people might say or think, but, we're playing against a very good football team, and, they're the first seed for a reason. They've had a great season, and, we're going to have to go into a really tough environment and play our best football. So it should be it's a great opportunity for us, and hopefully we can take advantage of it.
Hey,
Oh man, you haven't been around in a while.
I know, I'm back.
Good.
It's playoffs.
It's a big week.
I wanted to ask you about fourth down, and you guys used to go for it a ton. I was looking at it. You guys went for it over 20 times each season, 06 through 08, 09. And then you've tapered off a little bit. But the way Kansas City plays, they're so explosive and dangerous, and the possessions are going to be at such a premium. Does using all four downs for you guys offensively become maybe a strategic point as well?
Could be. I mean, I think situationally, however, the game's going, and, I think when sometimes you get into games and, offensively you're doing really well and you feel like, if we have that extra down, we can get it. Sometimes it's not going as well, and you feel like, they've been stopping us, and then you punt. So I don't know what those particular reasons were. I'm sure there was a reason for all of those, why we would go for them, why we wouldn't. How many times did we go for it this year? 14. 50%? It's not very good.
Do you feel emboldened ever to lobby for it? Or do you kind of say that's Josh and Bill?
I mean, we talk about a lot of scenarios for the game and so forth. So, whatever the situation presents, I think we'll try to do what's best or what we think's best or gives us the best opportunity to win. So, it's one game. If you don't win, that's it. That's what the playoffs are about. And you're right. They got a great offense. We're going to need to score a lot of points.
Tom, is there a constant that you can point to that you can see why the team keeps going to these AFC Championship games?
Our team?
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah.
What happens organizational-wise or team-wise for these opportunities to keep that?
I've never sat to think about any of those things. I mean, I really haven't thought about anything like that.
Tom, with cold weather and elements in mind, what are the factors that you consider whether to wear a glove on either hand going into this game?
Yeah, it's obviously, weather's a factor anytime you play in January, in these colder climates, and, Kansas City, obviously a cold climate, they're used to it. We've been practicing it for the last 2 months. It hasn't been extreme cold, but it's been cold enough to know, what you got to wear and, how you got to deal with it the best way you can. I play in a lot of games over the years where weather's a factor. So, you just dress for it and hopefully our blood's thickened up enough here being in the Northeast to deal with some of the cold, which I think it has. And even days like this today, they're cold and they do a good job preparing you. It'll be colder Sunday than it's been at any point this year. So, have a little mental toughness, a little physical toughness, and, just deal with it the best you can.
Tom, Bob Sutton, somebody whose defenses you guys are pretty familiar with between his time in Kansas City and with the Jets. How would you characterize his defenses? And is this a week where you guys feel like because of your experience against him, you have a pretty good idea of what you might be seeing?
Yeah, we played him quite a bit over the years, and, obviously very well coached offensively, defensively, special teams. Bob Sutton's a hell of a coordinator. They've had some incredible units that we played against. They've got, playmakers, at each level. They've got, obviously a good scheme. They make you work for it. It's a very tough, hard-nosed team, and, they compete on every snap. They've been in a lot of close games this year, and, it's a great challenge for us. I don't think you can take anything for granted. These guys are going to play extremely hard, and they rush well. They try to be stout and they're against the run. They got some good, hard-nosed linebackers, And the secondary, they're not afraid to tackle. They'll go up there and mix it up with everyone. And, that's a lot of what our first game was like. There was a lot of battles at the line of scrimmage. And, we're going to have to win our fair share. Hi, Karen.
Hi. Tom, last week's performance against the Chargers is a performance I think that you collectively as an offense is what you've been striving to achieve all year. What's it going to take to, back it up and repeat that performance next week?
Yeah, it's going to be, I think we talk about in these games, it's not like a special play or, there's a special formula. It's just, excelling at the right time, and, there's no play you can call. This is guaranteed 10 yards here, or this is a defense that gets up in your face and they try to challenge you and they don't make yards easy, and we're going to have to go dig them out. We're going to have to fight for every yard, toughness, effort. All those things play into it, obviously scheme and execution, but I think some intangible things are very important about, finishing blocks and out-efforting the guy that's over the top of you, or winning your one-on-one matchup and pass, running your pass route, because these guys, that's what they're trying to do too. And, even the first game we played against them, we had some opportunities that we, came up with down the field. There was other ones we were really close and we just didn't. And, that could be the difference, and you never know which play it's going to be. And I think everyone's going to be counted on. You got to, similar to last week, it's about, distributing the ball to everybody, making them defend everybody on the field and run, pass, everything. And that's why we were effective last week, and hopefully that's why we're effective this week.
Tom, I've got two quick ones for you if you don't mind. You guys are 3-point underdogs going into this game. It's the first time the Patriots have an underdog with you at quarterback in 3 or 4 years now. Just how does that feel, being the underdog going into this one?
Doesn't change much for us, but it just, shows you kind of what, people would think about, what our chances are. That's about it.
Doesn't
no more added comment to that.
Extra motivation at all?
If you're not motivated this week, you got a major problem. This is the week where, you shouldn't have to put any extra in. This is what it's all about. You sign up any chance you get to play an AFC Championship game. So I don't care where, when, time, cold, weather, rain, blood, don't matter.
Also, you guys have been excellent at home this year, 9-0, but struggled on the road, 3-5. Why do you think you guys have struggled so much on the road this year?
I think I just look at those games individually, and I know why we haven't won those games individually. I don't think it's a broad sweeping thing. It was a little bit in each game, and I think the point of that is this is not the week to have less than our best. So it's a tough game. It's a tough challenge. It's tough to beat the number one seed on the road. That's the reality. It's just like we're tough to beat at home when we're the number one seed. It takes a lot. It takes a lot of good football. It takes a great complementary game. All three phases have to be on point. We're going against a team that score a lot of points. They lead the league in sacks, strip sacks. It's a good group. And I think everybody at every position has to play well. That's what championship games are all about. These aren't just handed to you on a silver platter and, here you go, here's your trip to the Super Bowl. You got to go fight them out. We've been in a lot of games that come down right to the end.
Tom, has the use and the effectiveness of the 21 and 22 personnel sort of helped you maybe establish an offensive identity late in the year after some of the things that you went through earlier?
I think those, are good groupings for us. I think we have confidence in whatever grouping we put out there, else, the reality is we wouldn't put it out there. And I think those groups are good. It's certainly a style of football we like to play, and it sets up a lot of things, obviously running the ball. And then play actions off the run game, are very important. They help you create space. It's impossible to create space in the defense, drop back pass like you can when you play action, and you can displace underneath coverage and so forth. But yeah, both those are going to be effective, and we'll see as the game plan shakes out what we use more of. And but every player is ready to go, and who's ever called on has to go out there and execute their job, run, pass, whatever it is.
Bill talked this morning about how different both teams are from the last time you guys met in October. He said he thinks you guys have gotten better. I'm just curious, your opinion after everything you guys have been through, where you think this team stands right now compared to October.
Yeah, hopefully we've improved. I think, we've worked pretty hard. put a lot of time and energy into it, and you're at a point where, you know, this is as many practices as we've had, as much as this team's been together. It's a lot of communication, a lot of meetings, you know, a lot of things that we've tried that maybe haven't worked, and you know, we got one game guaranteed this Sunday, but nothing beyond that. So, you know, whatever we got, it's just the best that we got, and it's you know, that's how it should be in these games.
Two final questions, guys. Which student?
Tom, you've been playing long enough.
Right here.
Yeah, I know. A lot of years.
That's right.
Speaking of that, you've been playing long enough where your kids are older now.
Yep.
How cool are these moments, these games now for them and for your family? It's different now, isn't it?
Absolutely different than when I was, you know, young and very little responsibility, and now kids. It's a lot of fun. It's great for me. My daughter's 6. You know, she's a great cheerleader for us. My oldest son is into every play. My middle son is not into any play, and it's perfect. So, you know, we get to talk about it on the way home, and you know, they're understanding more and more, but they're still my kids, so they don't care much about that. They'd rather hang with Gronk and Jules and all those other guys.
They don't give you any advice, your oldest boy? You got to tell you what to do?
My oldest son Jack does a little bit. You know, he can analyze it pretty good.
Last question, Mr. Thompson.
Tom, just comment on the way James White has shown up on big games for you guys these past couple of years.
James has, you know, been an exceptional player for us, obviously in the biggest games, and we have so much trust in him and his ability to make the right decision. He's great with the ball in his hands, run game, pass game. Just been an exceptional player in every way, great teammate, and you know, they don't make too many like him. So I think we're all lucky to have him on our team, playing, competing, and you know, so it's about playing your best in the biggest games. James always done that.
Big time guy.
I know. Love those Big Ten guys. Where's he at? Oh. Thank you.
Raise your hand, we'll pass the mic to you.
Hey, James.
Raise that hand, we'll pass the mic. There you go. Start with Joe.
Hey, James, how much can the underdog mentality motivate you guys? Because you're not underdogs very often, especially in playoff games.
Yeah, it can motivate you a little bit, but you still got to go out there and play for 4 quarters. Just because you're an underdog doesn't give you any added boost. You just got to go out there, execute, play hard football for 4 quarters on the road, and that's what it's going to take to beat those guys.
James, obviously everyone's talking about the weather in Kansas City. Wondering what you think about it. You hear other players talk about it, and they say they hate it. They've hated it in the past. What do you think about it?
You just got to deal with it. Both teams got to deal with the elements. So whatever it is, as Coach will say, you just got to go out there and play through it, and just got to play football. It's going to be cold. It's going to be hot. You never know. So just got to deal with it.
You wear different kind of clothes, layer up?
Yeah, you can layer up as much as possible, but you still got to be able to go out there and run and play football, so can't put too much clothes on.
James, catching the ball out of the backfield is something that Bill said that you improved on pretty rapidly when you got here. Just as a running back, how difficult is it to learn the system to catch the ball out of the backfield, the different checks and option routes, that type of stuff?
It wasn't too difficult, just going out there and just trying to do the right things, pay attention to the finer details, trying to see what Tom sees so we can be on the same page, and I'm in the right spot when he looks my way. So just working hard in practice during OTAs, training camp, and throughout the season, you just continue to get better at it.
James, in past seasons, you guys probably have passed the ball a little bit more than you've run the ball. So what has it been like to run the ball behind this offensive line? Because I know they'd rather run block than pass block.
Oh, it's awesome. They've been doing a great job for us all year. From them to James Dillon to the tight ends, receivers, they've been giving us a big boost, giving us big holes to run through and make it easy for us. Just make one guy miss, we got some big runs, and it's been a big boost for our offense. If you can run the ball successfully, it opens up a lot of stuff. And, you know, Sony, Rex, everybody who's run the football has been doing a great job with it.
James, how are these games different for you? How are you different in these games now than maybe when you were a rookie? I mean, you and High and a bunch of guys are been blessed to be in these almost every single year, so you're kind of veterans at it, a young veteran, but how are you different in these games?
Well, you just don't take the opportunity for granted. It's not just every year automatically going to be in the playoffs, be in the AFC Championship. So just make the most of that opportunity, live in the moment, and just go out there and play your best football. You don't want to have any regrets.
James, your impressions of the Kansas City pass rush and Chris Jones in particular?
Chris Jones is having a huge year. Him, D Ford, Justin Houston, those guys have been disruptive all year long. I think they lead the league in sacks and stuff like that. So it's going to take all of us to pay attention to those guys and not let them make too big of an impact on the game because they really can mess up a game.
Thank you, James. David Andrews.
David Andrews. David Andrews is next. There's Carmen.
Raise your hand if you want to ask a question. We'll pass the mic to you.
Hey, David. Just talking to Scar last month, he said that you guys try to keep a lot of your blocking schemes in the running game similar so that even if it's zone or gap scheme, it's the same footwork and technique. Is that something that helps you guys out as linemen?
Yeah, I think that's a big thing is we try to keep, our techniques are our techniques. So, come week 16, there might be a new wrinkle to a run, but in reality for us, it's the same footwork, same technique. But it maybe looks different, dressed up a little different. So that allows us to be very good at what we do and, consistent.
David, one of the parts of a cold weather game is sort of the mythos of seeing the big guys, the offensive linemen, going out with the bare sleeves in the face of the cold. Is that something you guys plan on doing this weekend?
Never worn sleeves a day in my life, so I'm just going to put on what I put on and go out there and play.
Even if it's one out, guns out?
AFC Championship game, I don't really care what the temperature is, so I'm just fortunate to be here.
They tied for the league lead in sacks. Just your impressions of the Kansas City pass rush and the problems they pose to an offensive line.
It's a very good defense, very good defensive line. You can't play these guys from third and long. Play them from behind and behind the sticks and let them tee up their pass rush. They're very good and they can get home. Don't have to do a lot of crazy things. They just got good athletes that can rush the passer. So it's going to be a big challenge. We're going to have to go in there, stay ahead on down and distance and play the game how we want to.
David, how are you different in these games than when you were a rookie? I mean, you, James White, there's a bunch of young veterans in that locker room that have played a lot more than a lot of veterans in the league have ever played in these games. Are you different in these games, you yourself?
No, I don't think so. I think everything's just amped up and heightened, just like each playoff game. It's the biggest game we've played all year, best team we've played all year, but, it's just a football game at the end of the day, and it's going to be a big challenge. But I think you rely on what got you here, rely on all the hard work you started putting in April, and then through the summer, camp in August, all those things, and, whatever week we are now in the season. So, just rely on those things, and you just got to be at your best come Sunday.
Were you able to take that attitude as a rookie, or are you more mature now?
I think I'm, definitely more mature now. Rookie, it's a little different, but I think that's something you just learn.
How happy have you guys been, and how much has it helped that you guys have had consistency along that offensive line? I don't think Joe Tooney's missed a snap.
Yeah, we got a tough group of guys, and we've been very fortunate for the most part. Football is a physical game, and things happen that guys can't control. But we've been fortunate. Kind of the years I've been here and having guys stay in there and play, and that's a big thing when you get to work together with guys each day in and out. You just kind of form a group and kind of know how each other operate and communicate, and it's just a testament to guys coming in each day, working, and staying healthy.
David, Ivan Fear said that nobody does the screen pass better than James White. Could you just talk about how you guys work together to get that play so effective?
Man, I just try to go out and block for him, and then you can kind of feel him run by you, and it puts a little smile on your face. So James is such a good runner in open space. If we can just get out there and try to throw our bodies around, get on guys, he'll do the rest.
David, Arrowhead Stadium's known to get pretty noisy. How does that change the way you guys have to communicate as an offense versus playing at home?
Yeah, I mean, I think you just have to be very thorough. You can't leave anything assumed, or make sure everyone's on the same page. There's obviously you can't work on a snap count, so you have to be on the silent. But I think that's something we can do a good job of, and so it'll be a big challenge. It's going to be a great environment for a football game, that's for sure. All good? All right, guys.
Devin. Yes, Devin. Yeah, I think he's last.
Oh, you did? He sent it was like 30 seconds after I got your text. He sent it out. I didn't even think about it, to be honest with you. I probably should have. I probably should have. I texted you. I didn't want to put you guys on the same one. That's fine. Yeah, he definitely forgot. It's fine, but it's like I didn't think.
Devin, how much do you guys embrace the underdog role? Something that doesn't happen very often, especially in the playoffs.
I think it probably has happened to everybody individually in their life at some point. So I think that comes natural for guys. As far as I think from a team aspect, we just get ready to go. I think you guys see it around here. Like Bill doesn't treat us any different if we're underdogs or a favorite or any of that. So it's all about just being ready to go out there and trying to win a football game.
Patrick Mahomes said that it has been very complimentary of your defense. He said that you guys are tricky. Just how much pride do you guys take in that, being able to confuse the quarterback sometimes?
I think we definitely take pride in that, and I think we kind of realize we have to do that to win. Like a lot of these quarterbacks are just too good in the NFL to just go out there and give them, whatever it is you're doing. So we definitely try to make it hard for him. Playing him before, he figures things out. We even thought in the first game we got him with some stuff, but later he was able to figure it out. And I think you see that throughout the season. Even as a younger guy, he understands coverages. Obviously, has a great ability to throw the ball and to move around. So we'll have to definitely try to make it tough for him Sunday.
How about Tyreek Hill? I mean, just have you ever seen a guy that fast before? What type of coverage do you have to expect when you face a guy like that?
You just got to do your best. I mean, you can turn on the plays, throughout the whole season over and over again. Everyone knows he's fast. It's on the scouting report, it's on the film, but he's still able to make plays. He's still able to run by guys. So it's awareness, is knowing where he's at, is trying to get the film study to understand what he's doing when he's at different places. But I think in their office they do a great job of, he's at number 1, he's at 2, he's at 3, he's in the backfield, he's going on speed motion. So it's very difficult the way they use him, but it's a team effort. It's not going to be one guy that you just say go cover him. It's going to be a team effort of just trying to know where he's at and gang tackle him and get as many guys to him.
I think yourself, Brady, Stephen Gostkowski, and Slater are the only 4 on this team that play in the previous 7 AFC Championship games. How much do you relish all of these opportunities?
Oh, it's a great opportunity. I think just walking in here today, seeing the background, you don't know if this will happen every year, and it kind of seems, crazy because we say it every time we get this opportunity, but it's a special thing to be able to play in this game. Especially this one game, back in April that every team wants to be playing in. Every team in the AFC wants to be in this game, and it comes down to us in Kansas City. So Bill said it all week, we won't regret putting a lot into this. So I think that's the approach guys are taking, just giving it everything they have this week as far as film study, staying late, getting their body ready, just doing anything possible to try to play their best. And I think that's the right approach to have this week.
Dev, you guys have a saying here, ignore the noise, but on Sunday you said, we see it all. Julian has something on social media saying #BetAgainstUs. Are there times that you can use the noise to your advantage?
Yeah, and I think ignore the noise goes as far as preparation. I think, if everyone thinks we're great, that doesn't mean you take the week off and you just show up for the game. And if everyone thinks we're bad, doesn't mean we have no shot to win. But I think guys do, like I said, each one of the guys in that locker room at different points in their life has been counted out against and counted against. So you have to. I think you guys are probably built the same way. That's why you're here doing what you do. So it's no different for us as people and as athletes that love to compete. So and we understand we got a big challenge Sunday.
And just quickly, how do you strike the balance between not, you want to know and you can use it as motivation, but not getting too caught up in that stuff?
Yeah, at the end of the day, you better be ready to play football. What you see and what everyone else is talking about becomes irrelevant, as soon as kickoff. No one else cares about that. It'll be us versus Kansas City, and that's why we're here all day today. That's why we'll be here for the whole week, is to prepare for that. Everything else is cool. It's something to talk about, but at the end of the day, it comes down to being able to play football and execute at a high level.
Devin, you kind of touched on it before, but with so many weapons in front of you between Kelsey and Hill and all the guys they have, just keeping track of where they are on any given play, and how important is the communication between you guys in the secondary on Sunday?
Oh, it's vital. Not just the secondary, but us as a whole defense. With so many weapons, whether it's in the run game with Williams, all of the guys that they put out on the field to catch the ball, with Mahomes playing quarterback who's going to have the ball in his hands every play. We have to be able to communicate and know, what each guy's doing out there. And really, we can't have anybody that has a bad game Sunday. Like, it's that time of the year where we all need to kind of play our best football. And that's the teams that win. When you get all 11 guys out there on the same page playing good football. And that's what we'll need to do Sunday.
Dev, part of the reason you two teams are here, or the two teams that get here, are that oftentimes you guys have your way during the year. I mean, you jump out to big leads in games. These games usually aren't like that. It's like a boxing match. So what does it take to win this game when it's punch, counter punch type of game?
Flo always, Flo's been my position coach for a lot of these years, and he always says when you get in these big games, it's about focus on the next play. No matter if the play before was good or bad or what happened, it's all about focus on the next play, not focusing on what could happen or what might happen in the game later on in the fourth. It's just next play. And I think we got to have that mentality throughout the whole game because, like you said, each one of these games I played in, there's been great moments, there's been bad moments. It's just like a roller coaster. So when you have two good teams going at it, that's what you're going to have, and we got to have that mentality for 60 minutes.
I loved the piece that Jason wrote in the Players Tribune about,
I thought it was okay.
You thought it was okay. It's really amazing to see his journey and then having, to go through it with you having so much success, kind of at the same time. I'm just wondering what it was like for you guys to celebrate his first playoff win together.
It was fun. I think, but you kind of develop quickly in the playoff atmosphere. It's all about the next game if you want to stay alive in it. But for all of us, running in the locker room, realizing you get a chance to come to work the next week, you get a chance to compete in the AFC Championship. Like, guys love that feeling. Like, it's when you play in those games, it's just the truth. You're either gonna have a tremendous high or you're gonna have a really, really, really low. And I've been on both sides of that. So when you win, even though, like I said, you want to win the next week, you have to celebrate it. You have to kind of live in that moment. So. To play in the first playoff game for him and first one together, we were quite happy it was a win. Yeah, he's doing better than I am.
You guys have said that Patrick Mahomes really makes you defend the entire field. At your particular position, what's the kind of the number one thing to remember technique-wise when you're going up against a quarterback like this?
I think one of the things is at times you have kind of a clock in your head of, when the ball's coming out or when the rush will get there. You just kind of know. You have a feeling on plays. And against Mahomes, it's a little different. Like, that ball might not come out. He might, run backwards 10 yards. He might, go back across the field. Like, he just has that ability. And then usually you talk about if a guy's on one side of the field, he kind of cuts off, the other half. But you watch him, he makes throws across his body that gets to the receiver. So it's more of an awareness of understanding what's still alive with him. And that's what we mean when we say the whole field is still alive because of his arm strength and athletic ability to buy time.
Is there any sort of difference in a playoff game, when you've already played the opponent in the regular season to play them a second time?
I think it's a little different when you play a team, maybe it's 3 weeks ago, 2 weeks, a lot usually is very similar. I think because we played each other so long ago, you definitely watch the game and you go over some of the things that went well or didn't go well because those things can come back up. But a lot of times, like the teams you play in October, like we're not the same really. They're not the same. It's just a little different. Whereas I think it's a little different when you play a team a couple of weeks ago, like how Baltimore and LA played towards the end of the regular season, then in a playoff game. There's a lot of things, like you don't have that much time to make a lot of changes at this time of the year. So, but I think that game definitely has relevance.
Devin, if I heard you right, you said Bill mentioned to the team, you'll never regret putting everything you have into this week. That's an urgent message. When you hear that from him, what do you notice about how your teammates respond to that?
For me, I've heard it, each year now. But I think guys kind of get it. It's you put everything you got because if you don't, that's it. Like you whatever you thought was important, you have all the time in the world now in the off season. So I think guys see that message and they're like, yeah, this is what I want. I think that feeling of walking away Sunday with opportunity to play again, I think that urges guys more to see what the feeling is next week if you can win. So I think what I've always loved is a clear message, and I think everyone can understand that that you'll never look back and say, I put in too much work for us to go out there and win because of that feeling. It just trumps it.
Last question, Chris Price.
Dev, kind of following up on Mike's question, these games quite frequently are won and lost over the course of the week in terms of preparation, in terms of practice and that kind of thing. I was wondering if you could speak to the importance, especially in moments like this, of the scout team, of the guys that are on the other side of the ball, giving you a look and preparing you for a game like this.
Yeah, it's key, and I think we always talk about that here, and you guys see it. You'll see guys in black jerseys and stuff, and the importance of that, I think guys take a lot of pride in, of going out there, seeing the film, seeing what they're asked to do, and trying to do it to a high level. And I think one thing that always helps that is you see guys come from the practice squad or not playing much throughout the season, and then out of nowhere they're playing in the biggest moments, and all of that starts with being on the scout team, being out there at practice. So I think when you see us go out there and play well, it's probably because we had good moments in practice, but sometimes it's because we had bad moments because the scout team gave us a good look to go back there and review and get ready for the game. So you get this time of year, every man in that locker room counts. Every man has a role on the team, and that's why when you win, every guy's excited. Every guy has fun. I don't care if you played every snap or if you played one or if you didn't play on Sunday. Every guy embraces that and enjoys that moment because you're truly a part of it.
Thank you, Devin.
Appreciate it.
Thanks, everyone.
smarter people.